Today, I'm going to be showing you 20 hidden features and handy tips for the iPhone 15, 15 Pro, or any iPhone running the latest iOS 17. I learned a lot making this video, and believe me, many small tips and tricks can really add up to make the overall experience using your iPhone even better. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm not going to show you all of these tips here right on my iPhone, and let's walk through them one by one, and I'm going to show you how to do them, as well as talk about how they can be beneficial for you. So the first thing we're going to look at is how to hide pages on your iPhone. So as you can see, if I swipe through here, I have 4 pages on my iPhone, but let's say this last page, let's say it has some finance apps or some personal apps or things that I may want a little bit more private or less in view. What you can do is go ahead and enter the edit mode. So to do this, we're going to press and hold on any application, and then tap on edit home screen. You'll see they all start to sort of jiggle. Then tap on the dot menu here on the bottom of the display, and here we get an overview of all of your pages, and here we also have some check marks beneath each. So let's say this last page, let's say I want to hide it. What I can do is simply unselect it, tap on done, wait for things to settle, and then as you can see, if I swipe over, that 4th page will no longer show, and as you can see, instead it will go straight to the app library. Now, it is important to note that the applications on that 4th page are not removed. In fact, they're still accessible here via the app library or via search, so simply swiping down will allow you to access those apps, but again, it kind of keeps them a little bit out of view. And just to show you quickly as well how to bring back that page, we're going to go back into the same edit menu, tap on the same menu, and then tap the check mark once again, and as you can see, the page has now returned. While we're here, I want to show you one more useful tip, and that is with this dot menu. It's also really easy to quickly cycle between your pages by simply dragging your finger across. And then if you are, say, on the last page and you want to quickly go back to your first page of applications, simply swipe up once from the bottom of the display and it will automatically return to your main page. All right, for this next one, we're jumping into Safari. And as you can see, I have a few different tabs open. And of course, you can switch between tabs here by going to the tab switcher. But a much quicker way to do so is to simply swipe across the URL bar. You can simply swipe left to right to quickly go and switch between your tabs. I find this to be a much more efficient way to browse on Safari, and honestly makes the experience much more enjoyable. Now, while we're on the subject of tabs, let's say you have a tab that you often have open or often go to. For example, here I have Google Flights. Let's say you want that tab to be permanently open. Well, what you can do is actually pin a tab to the top of your display here. So if I go ahead and press on that tab, I can go ahead and tap on pin tab, and as you can see, it will then have a more collapsed or smaller version of that tab that will then be permanently pinned to the top of my tab section. I can go ahead and tap into that at any point, and that will always remain open. And then of course, to unpin it, simply press and hold the same tab, tap unpin, and then it will be removed. Let's say you're browsing on a web page and you've scrolled really far down and you want to quickly swipe up back up to the top of the page. What you can do is simply tap on the top of the display to instantly return back to the top. And this doesn't just apply in Safari, this also works in documents and emails. It makes it much easier to scroll to the top in an instant. I don't know about you, but I like to think I'm pretty good at math, but in reality, I do sometimes have to double check my work, and for that, I love to use my phone. But instead of always having to go to the calculator app, what you can also do is simply swipe down on the home screen, go to this search bar, and you can actually do math equations right in the search bar. So for example, I can do 2 times 3 here. Let's see, 6. Okay, good. See, I was correct that time. But for more serious math, we will of course have to jump into the calculator app. And let's say we're typing out a long digit number. So let's add a couple more here. And let's say I made a mistake. Let's say this last 9, I instead want that to be a 1 or something. Now, of course, you can press the C here to remove the entire equation, but that of course means you have to type everything out again. But a quick way to simply remove one number is to simply swipe to the right. And as you can see, that 9 will now be removed. I can go ahead and add the correct number. Moving swiftly along, I want to talk about widgets. Now, as you can see, I have a music widget here and I have a weather widget here. And I think widgets are a great way to see app info at a glance, but of course you can make these even more efficient by actually stacking widgets. So instead of having 2 widgets across different pages, what I can do is take this weather widget and then I can go ahead and drag it over top the music widget. And as you can see, I have now created a stack that I can then cycle through. So as you can see here, if I go ahead and swipe through them, I can choose which one I want to show, and then of course, I can switch to my music as well as back to my weather, and you can add up to 5 widgets within a given stack. And you can also have what is called a smart stack, and this will allow you to automatically rotate throughout the day. So let's say let's say on your way home at 6 p.m., you often select your music. It's then going to automatically detect that and show your music first, whereas in the morning, you want to check the weather before you leave home. It's going to pick up on that habit and then show you your weather widget first. And of course, to add more widgets to that stack, you can simply press the plus button here on the top. Go ahead and tap done, and as you can see, we've now created a widget stack, saving you space on your home screen. Some applications in iOS have an undo button. For example, this arrow here on the top left, which will allow me to undo what I've just typed. However, this is not the case for all applications. For example, in Messages, as you can see, there's no undo button whatsoever. However, there actually is a hidden undo button, and to access this, what you're going to do is use 3 fingers and tap on the display. As you can see, that's not going to bring up this new menu up here with the same back arrow, and that will allow you to go back and undo what you just did. Now, I love using and trying out new applications on my iPhone, and if there is one that I want to leave a review for, I certainly will. However, I don't like it when apps will always ask me to leave a review for their application, and there's actually a way to turn off this ability. So to do this, if we go into Settings, and then we're going to scroll to App Store, and then scroll down to where we find in-app ratings and reviews. And if we turn this off, applications won't be bothering you about asking them to rate the application. By the way, have I asked you to leave a like on this video and also subscribe to the channel if you are enjoying this video so far? Thank you so much. Next, I want to talk about Siri. Now, Siri is a great digital assistant. However, it can be triggered accidentally sometimes. In fact, even if you say the word seriously or any word similar to that, it sometimes can trigger Siri. And a great way to avoid this from happening is to go into Settings and then scroll down to where we find Siri in search. And then you want to go into Listen For. And you want to make sure that this is turned off. Now, what this will mean is 2 things. One is that Siri will no longer accidentally be triggered, which is great. Secondly, it's also going to save you a fair bit of battery, as your phone won't be constantly listening for that activation phrase using the microphones and all that in the background. So if you turn that off, it's going to save you a lot of battery. And again, may save you a funny or perhaps embarrassing moment of Siri accidentally triggering. Now, of course, to instead trigger Siri, what you want to do is press and hold on the side button. Will it rain today? And then you get the same functionality. The Control Center is a great way to access core system functionality on your iPhone in an instant swipe. So just swiping down from the top right gives you all this functionality right here. And this is really great, but it actually goes a level deeper. So for example, if you have the timer icon here in the Control Center, by the way, if you don't have this, to add this, we're going to go into your settings and then scroll to where we find Control Center. And then here, you'll find the included controls. And then on the bottom here, you'll find controls to add. And if you don't have it yet, you'll find this timer icon. And all you want to do is simply press that little plus sign. And as you can see, that will then be added to your list of controls. Now, going back to this specific control here, what you can do is not only tap it to go into your timer app, but you can also tap and hold it to instantly set a timer from there. And you can see it'll be preset to your most recently set timer. You can go in and scroll up to make it longer or shorter, and then simply start it from there. And this is a much more efficient, faster way to quickly set a timer, which is really great. But this goes even further. So this also applies to other controls. So for example, you have your brightness, you have your volume. I don't know about you, but when I'm listening to music, I like to set my volume to a very specific level. Sometimes this gauge here is just not fine enough. Like I can't get the right volume. So what you can do is press and hold on it to expand it. And as you can see, it's now bigger, and this will allow for much more fine adjustment of your volume. And the same goes for your brightness. All right, so this next one is great. Picture this. You're walking down a busy road following a route on maps. You have your coffee in one hand, you have your phone in the other, and you really aren't able to use both hands to access your phone, but you want to zoom in on your map. Of course, with one hand, it is impossible to pinch and zoom, so how else do you zoom? Well, it is actually possible to do a one-handed zoom on maps or any other application on your iPhone, and that is to simply do this. What you want to do is double tap with one finger, and then hold on that second tap and then swipe up or down to zoom in or out. I find this not only to be super useful because you can do it with one hand, it's actually quicker than pinching to zoom as well. You can see it's very sensitive, allowing you to quickly make broad adjustments in the scale when, for example, zooming in on maps. Super useful. Speaking of one-handed, if you are typing in a message and again, you only have one hand to spare, it may be hard to reach the other end of the keyboard with your one hand, especially if you're using a Plus model or Pro Max model. And this is where the one-handed keyboard comes in really handy. Now to access this, you're going to press and hold on this little globe icon. It may be an emoji icon if you don't have multiple languages set up. Simply press and hold on that icon. As you can see on the bottom here, you will have 2 additional buttons. You can either scooch the keyboard a little bit to the right or to the left. Now I'm left-handed, but here I'm using my right hand. So let's move it to the right. And as you can see, it essentially moves the keyboard, everything over to the right and kind of shrinks it by, let's say 15% or so, making it much easier to reach the other end of the keys without having to stretch your thumb as much or use both hands. And of course, to exit one-handed mode, simply tap on the little arrow and your keyboard will fully expand. Speaking of the keyboard, something that I think really improves the typing experience is to turn on what is called keyboard haptics. This gives you a little bit of a clicky feedback with every key that you press. I find that once you get used to this, it becomes really satisfying and somehow takes me back to the good old BlackBerry days of physical keyboards. And I don't know, there's something nostalgic about it. I kind of like it. Let me show you how to turn this on. So to do this, we're going to go into the settings app here, and then click on sound and haptics, and then we're going to scroll down to where we find keyboard feedback, and you want to turn on haptic. Now you do have the option to turn on sound. I wouldn't advise this. I think this can be a little disruptive for others around you. Haptic is entirely silent and only you can feel it. And again, like I said, it just adds a level of tactileness to the keyboard, making it feel more like you're pressing a button rather than just tapping a display. For this next one, we're going to jump into photos, and I want to show you how to turn a photo into a sticker. So let's take a look at this photo, for example. You see I have this great shot of a boat here. What I can do is press and hold on that boat, and as you can see, it has an intelligently selected only the boat, not the surroundings, and I can then add sticker, and as you can see, it will now have created a sticker with that boat, and this will then permanently be stored into my list of stickers. You can see I've been experimenting, trying different ones. I got Apple Watch, got some headphones there, and the neat thing is if I go into my messages, I can then of course tap on the little plus sign, tap on stickers, and this will then allow me to add that into my message. I can overlay it over a photo, send it separately, and this doesn't just work in messages. Of course, this works across iOS and will then be added to your list of stickers. So all you have to do is find an object that you want to turn into a sticker, simply press and hold, and when automatically selected, tap on add sticker, and then you've got a new sticker. As you can see here, I've got actually 4 photos, but they're all shot at the same location, just at different focal lengths, from a wider lens to a more zoomed in lens. But you can see that the edits are very different. This top one here on the top left is much more saturated. The blues are deeper and the whites are more pronounced. And that's because I have, well, edited this photo. You can see that if I tap on the edit button, you can see I've made several adjustments to the picture, including the vibrance and the exposure. But let's say I want to apply the same edits to these other photos as they are taken on the same location. And this is a great way to quickly copy just the edits from one photo to another. But how do you do this? Well, to do this, we're going to tap on the 3-dot menu in the top right. And then what we can do is select copy edits. Then we can go ahead and select all these last pictures. So by tapping here on the top right, we can multi-select, and then we tap on the 3-dot menu once more, and then we're going to tap on paste edits. Now watch, 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, all of them will now have the same edits applied. And of course, you can still adjust them a little bit from there, but this gives you a great way to make sure that the base layer of those edits are copied across to all your shots. Okay, this next one is really cool. Check this out. If I pick up my phone here and I double tap on the back, as you can see, it takes a screenshot. Now, let me show you how to assign actions to taps on the back of your phone. This is really cool. So what we're going to go ahead and do here for this is we're going to place the phone back down, and then we're going to jump into settings, and then we're going to go back to the main page here, scroll down to where we find accessibility. Hold on, there it is, accessibility. And then we're going to go into touch, and then all the way here at the bottom we have back tap, and you want to make sure that this is turned on. Now you have 2 options here. You can either assign a double tap or a triple tap. Now I haven't used a double tap, or a triple tap rather, and I just use a double tap, and I think a screenshot is a great way to access this. Again, also with one hand, because you don't have to reach to both sides of the buttons. Simply double tap once on the back and it will take that screenshot. And I actually find this to work really well, but as you can see, you can set it to a wide range of functions, including even custom shortcuts that you may have. So you can really add an additional layer of a functionality to your iPhone. I think this is really great. And again, it's surprisingly reliable and works really well. So when I'm holding my phone in my hand, all I have to do is double tap. As you can see, it takes a screenshot. Awesome. Personally, I like to have my phone on silent on most of the time, just because I want to be the only one that hears notifications coming in. I don't need a loud sound. However, there's a middle ground between having sort of a sound playing as well as just vibrations, and that is to use the flash on your camera. So you can actually have this turn on almost like an LED indicator for whenever you receive a notification. So let me go ahead and show you how to set this up here. So we go into settings and then into accessibility. So just go back here and then tap on accessibility. And then from here, we're going to go into audio visual, scroll down here, and there's audio visual. And then in here, we're going to go all the way to the bottom, and then we have LED flash for alerts. You can go ahead and turn that on or off, and you can have it play also with different other parameters. So for example, only when your phone is locked, or also when your phone is only in silent mode. So this way, if say you have your phone face down on a desk, you'll have the LED flash play, because of course, if it's on your table, you won't feel the vibration, but with the flash, you'll still have some form of indicator light going to know that you've received a notification. And this next one is simple but very useful. So as you can see, if I lock my phone and I go ahead and unlock, it's of course going to trigger Face ID. But what if, say, you are in a situation where you want to protect your phone and disable Face ID, in other words, require your passcode to unlock? And this is what's called lockdown mode. Now, Apple put this into place, I think, for many different reasons. One of the reasons they list is for law enforcement, for example, if, say, you want to protect your phone and disable Face ID. So how do you do this? Well, first you want to make sure that your phone is locked, and then you're simply going to press and hold the side button and the volume up or volume down button. So if I go in and press and hold those, you'll see that we get this power off menu. Of course, that allows you to turn off your phone, access your medical ID, or make an emergency call. But if I just simply tap out of that, you'll see that Face ID no longer is activated. I need to enter my password to unlock my phone. And this is essentially lockdown mode, where your phone requires the passcode to really do anything, and Face ID will be temporarily disabled. Of course, typing in my password, locking the phone, unlocking it again, will then take it out of lockdown mode, and then your phone will function again as normal. And there you have it. Let me know if you have any questions at all, and I'd love to hear from you which tip was your favorite. And to get even more out of your iPhone, be sure to check out my first things to do video as well as my EDC video for some top recommended accessories. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.